Hey there, everybody. My name is Turtledud3. Welcome back to the channel. It has been a while since I've last uploaded anything here. In fact, here's the number of days it's been since my last video. And whatever number that is, it is far too long, and I personally apologize. But I also need you to understand that I didn't take this break from YouTube, if you will, without having very good reasons. And I'm here today to explain what those reasons are, starting with how and why I took this break to begin with. So if you watch this video right here, or you can click the link in the description, then it'll basically tell you that I wasn't happy with where my YouTube channel was going. And I was trying to do this daily content thing that was just driving the quality of each video through the floor, and I hated making bad quality content. I just wanted to make nice stuff. And if I am happy making the videos, I'll put more work into the videos, which makes them better quality, and that means that you guys, the viewers, will like them more. So it's a win-win for both the audience and for the creator if I just didn't do daily content and I made nice stuff instead. And when I realized that, I couldn't do the daily stuff anymore. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So I quit for like 1 or 2 weeks just to figure out how I was going to transition to being a better quality content producer. Well, then a lot of things happened at once, and I'm going to explain those to you. The first thing was that my dad and I planned a trip to Africa on motorcycles. It was a great trip and all that kind of stuff. I'm not here to talk about that right now, although I would love to. But we took this trip, and I knew it was going to come up, and I had full intentions to make content for it to cover the gap while I was gone, so you wouldn't be left with this lurch of content that you're just sitting around waiting for stuff. But I couldn't because of that video I just showed you a minute ago up there. I wasn't happy, and I didn't even know how I was going to make the content yet. So instead of trying to rush the content, going right back into the same situation I was in, I just decided I would wait until I got back from the trip, and then I would sort it all out and make it happen. So that was a good plan. But at the same time, right before we left on that trip to Africa, I bought a house. So that was a bit of a wrench in my plans as far as this channel was concerned, because there's a lot of paperwork for that and a lot of planning, and it was kind of a sudden thing because this place was going to sell fast, so I just jumped on it and bought it and then made it work. But I've never before have I had my own space, and I really wanted it. So to me, it was well worth that effort. So that also took up those few weeks before I left, and I actually closed on the house like a day or two before I left for Africa. So what that means is I basically got the house, it was officially mine, and then I didn't even get to move into it because I left for Africa. But then I came back from Africa, and I was like, okay, now I can finally move into my house. Surprise! My job is not one of those jobs that you can just leave and come back to. So I got slammed with a lot of work when I came back from my job, and to make sure everybody was happy with my services and my job and everything, I dropped everything, including moving into my house for a period of time to catch up with all that. And then once I finally got that started to get straightened out, and everything was getting back to normal, if you will, as normal as my job gets, which I'm not complaining about. I love my job. Then I decided it was probably about time for me to move into my house. So I got all my stuff packed up and I moved in here, and I just now finally got it to the point where I would consider it livable. And it's not completely filled to the brim with random totes full of stuff. And I built this new entire setup for both work and my YouTube channel. So I'm going to introduce you to that while we're on the topic. But to do that, I need to run you through the history of microphones on my channel, because that's the first topic. This is the microphone that I've been running my channel with for years now. Long time. This isn't actually the same one I started with. I had an identical model to this, but it actually broke. It had a lot of static, and it was going like that in the background. If you watch some really old videos, you might catch a little bit of it here or there. And I had to get rid of it because it started doing that really bad. So I just replaced it with an identical one, which is this one. But this one's been around for like 2 years, and it's been a trooper. I love this little guy. And it was like $30, but it sounds like this. Let me just show you. Hey there, everybody. My name is Turtledud. Welcome back to the channel. We're playing this today. It sounds pretty bad. And later I discovered that if you hold it super close to your face like this, it sounds pretty decent, but it's also kind of loud and it's stiff and it sounds muffly still a little bit comparatively. Or I could just do this like that. But so you see the difference between my new microphone, which is what you're seeing here, and my old guy over there. But I didn't always sound so terrible. So how did I get between those two? The board. That's right, the board. So what I would do is this board and I would be on the desk recording together, and I would sit the microphone on the board like this, just like that. But then I would hang it off the edge of the desk, kind of like it's on my hand here. And to get it to stay there, I stuck originally a brick, but I don't have the brick with me. I don't know where it is. And I switched later to a giant chunk of obsidian. And the obsidian chunk weighs so much that it would counterbalance the entire thing. So if I just set my hand flat like this, you notice it counterbalances the entire microphone weight. And then I would just sit the rock end, the heavy counterweighted end, on my desk. And then as you can just barely see, the toner mic would sit there and I could just kind of hunker over it and I could get it to sound pretty decent. When I got into my new house though and I started building my new desk, I was over that. I was no longer going to live like that. So I decided that it was time for this mic's retirement and I bought a new one. And it comes with like a full boom arm, and that way I don't have to use a chunk of wood on my desk anymore that pokes me and that I bump all the time. And I can also strap my camera straight to it. So now, if I'm looking right at you, it sounds like I'm talking to you. If I look away from you, it sounds like I'm talking away from you, which I think is really cool. So it adds a little bit more immersion to my videos, which I think increases the quality. It's the same reason I do stuff like this, where if I change the background color, I can actually blend my face right to that color at will. It just does that because I built this whole system. It's on version like 11 or 12 now that allows me to do this with my particular setup. I'm really happy about this thing. But it does more than that. If I, per se, make a grayscale background like this, and then I raise the brightness to a white background, then my face is very bright. It matches the atmosphere. But if I drop it to a very dark black background, then you can barely see me in the darkness. This is great if I just reset this back to normal for scary games or for anything that's got lots of color in it. And it allows me to fit with the environment of the game that I'm in instead of being just the super bright white face down on the bottom all the time, you know? And I like that. I think that adds immersion and therefore better quality. Now I'm doing loads of stuff like that on this channel, and I have been for a good while now, but only on the good quality videos, which is why I want to switch to this. So, besides the microphone, I also got like a whole new desk, and it's much better laid out. I have a dual green screen set up so now I can actually just be wherever I want in the room, and I don't have to have it in a specific spot that lines up with the green screen. It's great. And I'm having a great time at this setup, even though I haven't really got to record with it much yet. So I'm happy about it. But what are the future plans of the channel? So the future of this channel is complicated for me right now because there's a lot of variables up in the air that I haven't quite nailed down yet. And I'm about to the point that I'm just going to have to try something and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, then I'll figure something else out and try it instead. But here's the current plan. So I have several old series that I would like to continue with much better quality setup, obviously. And then I can see where I can go from there. To start with, I would finish Alien Isolation and Outlast. Those two games are very good games. I think they deserve to have a full playthrough of my channel. And I have a feeling that especially Alien Isolation is going to take a long, long time. So I'm not worried so much about Outlast. I think I got it nailed down pretty good to what I need to be doing with it. But Alien Isolation kind of scares me a little bit when it comes to editing, because one, it's been a good while since the last video, on top of it already being a good while since the last video at all. So it's been a solid time. And I fear the videos are too long, because because they're all like 30 minutes to an hour or something. But I feel like there's just a lot of me walking around in those videos that just doesn't need to be there. But I feel like it's critical that you actually at least get to see me just walking around, because it builds this suspense the whole time you're playing it. You're just on your edge of your seat. So I think it's worth it for me to have the entire playthrough in there like that, because then you get the true suspense of the whole game. Not just my tailored version of it that just spoon feeds it to you. You get the good, the bad, and the ugly. But that means I'm going to have like 80 hours of footage for that game on this channel, and I don't know if you guys are interested in watching something that's that long. So if you're not, I'll try to edit it down into something that is more manageable, and it'll cut out all the stuff of just me getting from place to place like that, and I'll just show you the really cool, interesting stuff along the way and all the cool events. But I'll cut out all the boring stuff. None of it's really boring. I'll cut out the less interesting stuff. How's that sound? Does that sound better, or would you rather I just have all of it in there like the older videos for it have been? So let me know there. And a very similar situation is happening with Enter the Gungeon. I fear that if I make more Enter the Gungeon videos, that nobody's going to watch them, because it's kind of boring just to sit there and watch somebody gun down the same enemies over and over and over. So what I could do is I could just play the game, and then I could cut out a whole bunch of me just shooting random enemies and just include like the boss fights and the interesting cutscenes of me finding cool stuff and close calls, stuff like that. And it would be still kind of a nice flow, but it would cut out all the boring stuff in the middle. I think that's fair, especially for Enter the Gungeon. But let me know if you like that series as well. Then the last one I want to talk about in this video is Cyberpunk 2077. I still have not given up on that game. It's a great game. I've actually played it all the way through already. I recorded the whole thing, and I got rid of all the footage because I realized I played that game so incorrectly. I played it unbelievably wrong the first time I tried to play through that game. I can't believe how badly I played it. But I can't believe I got through the game like I did at all. But long story short, I'm going back through and I'm giving you what great experience the game was supposed to be. And you could get to see all that. But every time I upload a video on that game, the views are terrible. So I just need to know, do you guys like the Cyberpunk 2077 series? Be brutally honest. I am open to make as many changes as necessary to make that series happen. I do not care. Whatever you guys want that series to be, I'll make it happen. I just need to know if you're even interested in me making a series on Cyberpunk anymore. So, yeah. Let me know, please, especially on that one, because I really need to know if I need to try to record that or not, because if I am, it's going to require an extensive amount of work. So I'd like to prepare. That's all I'm going to talk about in this video. I feel like I've already brought up a lot, and I'd love your feedback, so please give it to me. And I'll make this channel as great as I can possibly make it for you. I'd love to do that. And yeah, I'm going to call it there. Thank you all so much for watching, and especially if you could drop some comments or feedback. My name is Turtledud3. Peace out.